Welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Years ago, I began recording the bedtime stories I told my children every night. Now, we would like to share those stories with you. I hope you enjoy my Stories for Wonderful Children. Winella woke up bright and early the next morning, eager to get to Flibbertygibit's palace and to see what he could tell her about the seed.
The seed?
The seed, yes, the warm seed that the fairy had entrusted to her, and that she had hidden in the chocolate bat's cave. She got up bright and early, and after having breakfast, she told her mommy that she was going, and she went out into the backyard. She walked across the backyard in the cool morning air. The dew was still on the grass, and as she looked behind herself, she could see footprints where her feet had wiped the dew off the grass. She walked back to the Catspaw Highway. She climbed up onto it and turned around and noticed something peculiar. There were other footprints besides her own in the dew of the grass, but she could not see anyone. She thought, pretending that she wasn't looking at the footprints. Those look like goblin footprints. I wonder why Jack Frost is sending his goblins to keep an eye on me. I wonder if he knows or suspects that I am the new guardian of the seed. Knowing that there was nothing she could do about it right that moment, she turned around 3 times, whispering to herself, "Catspaw Highway, Catspaw Highway, Catspaw Highway, take me where I want to go." And then she was going very fast and standing in a great jungle. She turned around, and there behind her was the great golden palace with cats guarding the doorway. She walked up to it, and one of the cat guards challenged her, saying, "Meow! Who goes there?" "It's me, Winella," she said. "I'm here to visit Flibbertygibit." "Meow! You may pass, Winella, friend of Flibbertygibit." Winella walked through the door. As she started to walk through the door, she stopped and said, "Have you seen any goblins about?" The cat guard said, "Meow! Yes, ma'am. There was one earlier sneaking around the Catspaw Highway. He had some sort of ice magic on him to make him hard to see, but we cats can see him. We ran him off." "Okay," said Winella. Thank you. Thank you for keeping such a good guard." "Wow! Yes, ma'am." Winella walked into the palace. She walked into the throne room. Flibbertygibit was sitting on his throne, deciding a case of 2 cats who both claimed that a catnip garden was theirs. One of the cats owned the land that the garden was planted on, and the other cat had planted the catnip and had watered the catnip and had weeded the catnip all year. Flibbertygibit ruled that the cat who had done the work owned the catnip, but must sell at least half of the catnip to the cat who owned the land. He dismissed the cats and then looked up. "Oh, Winella, it is so good to see you. Have you come for lunch?" Winella said, "Well, yes, Flibbertygibit, lunch would be wonderful later, but that's not why I came." She said, "I need your advice." "Oh, my advice. I am always happy to give you whatever you need, Winella. What may I advise you on?" Winella said, "Well, it's sort of a secret. Do you have some place where we could talk a little less public than the throne room?" "Oh, it is your secret?" Winella said, "Yes, a very important secret." "Oh, is it about a tuna fish?" "No," said Winella, "it's not about tuna fish." "Oh, but it is a very important secret." "Yes," said Winella. "All right. Follow me, please." Flibbertygibit got up and she followed him through the halls of the palace. They passed several sets of cat guards, and then they approached a door that appeared to be made all out of gold. And a cat stood beside it that Winella had never seen before. It was a cat with silver fur, and instead of holding a spear or a sword like Flibbertygibit's other guards had, this cat held a wand. Flibbertygibit said, "This cat will make sure that we are alone." Flibbertygibit and Winella went through the door, with the cat waving his wand over them. Flibbertygibit closed the door behind them and said, "And now, I do not believe that anyone could overhear us. What is a secret that is very important yet does not involve a tuna fish?" Winella said, "Well, it's like this." And she told him the whole story about being in her backyard and about Centessa coming and giving her the seed, the magical seed, that warm black seed.
Why it was so special.
And she told him all about why it was special and about it being the seed of the last seed of the tree that had guarded.
The last seed of hope.
Right, of the last seed of hope from the tree that had guarded Fairyland until Jack Frost had come. And Flibbertygibit said, "Oh yes, this is all coming back to me now. I remember this story." And then Winella started to tell him how she had taken the seed to hide it, and Flibbertygibit had said, No, I do not need to know where the seed is hidden. It is better if no one knows where the seed is hidden. And at just that moment they heard a scuffling sound and a zap from out in the hallway. Flibbertygibit went to the door and opened it, and he could see that the cat with the wand had caught a goblin that had been lurking in the hallway. He had had an invisibility spell cast on him and had tried to sneak up to the door to listen, but Flibbertygibit's wand guard had caught him, and the other cat guards were carrying him off. Flibbertygibit shut the door and shook his head. He said, "Oh, this is not good. I think that Jack Frost has realized that Centessa may no longer have the seed. You must find this place where the new seed, this seed of hope, can grow. And you must find it and plant it without Jack Frost knowing." He said, You are a very clever little girl, Winella. I think that Centessa has chosen very wisely, making you the new guardian of the seed. Winella said, "Well, Flibbertygibit, I was sort of hoping that you might have some idea where I could look for where the seed might be able to grow." Flibbertygibit said, I am sorry, Winella. I do not know, but perhaps we can think about it together." He said, "No, where did the tree grow?" And Winella said, "Well, it grew in Fairyland." And Flibbertygibit said, Yes? And what is it? What is special about Fairyland?" And Winella said, "Well, let me think. It's a land where fairies live, and it's a magical land." Flibbertygibit said, Yes. And you can only get there by the Catspaw Highway. Can you think of other places where fairies live that you can get to by the Catspaw Highway?" And Winella said, "Yes, I can. I can think of 2 places like that." And Flibbertygibit said, Is that so? Well, then, he said, "Now all you have to do is see where the seed will grow, and see if it will grow in either of those places." And Winella said, "Well, I guess I can try it." He said, "But there is one more thing, Winella. You must find out without Jack Frost finding out. Because if he knows where you have gone, he will follow you. He has goblins following you now. Winella said, well, in that case, Flibbertygibit, I can think of one other thing that you can do to help me. She said, are you sure there are no goblins in the palace anymore? And Flibbertygibit said, I will have my wand guards make doubly sure. And Winella said, good. Can we go to your garden? I need to borrow some things from you. And Flibbertygibit said, oh, I think I know what you are meaning. Let's go. And so they went to his garden, and Winella borrowed some little shovels to use for planting seeds. And then she asked him to look at his seed collection. And she looked through his seed collection. She looked through it and looked through it and looked through it until she found some seeds that were dark and black with almost a brown glow to them. He agreed to let her borrow those seeds, and she took them because she had a plan in mind, a plan to plant the seed and plant it in such a way that Jack Frost would not know, and so that it could grow undisturbed into the tree of hope. And she smiled to herself as she got on the Cat's Paw Highway to go home, because she thought that the plan just might work.
Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I wanted to share that I've joined Kids Listen, an organization that advocates for high-quality children's podcasts. Kids Listen is a group of podcast creators who work independently but have come together to support each other and our audiences. Stay tuned after the music for a message from one of my fellow Kids Listen's podcasts that you might want to give a listen to. And remember, tell a story to someone you love.
Hey Dan, thanks for the welcome to Kids Listen. I really appreciate it. Your fans and followers can find us at All Things Madison Podcast, wherever they get their podcasts today. Thanks.